Hello, 9H. This is Miss Holbrow coming to you from my classroom, my virtual classroom. Now, I want to start off by talking to you and thanking the 3 people who came to the video conference today. I really appreciated everyone because I think it really does help if I can actually explain all the concepts that I'm trying to teach to you. And today was a pretty tough one with poetry annotations. So thank you to those that came. I really wish that more of you would have come because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of questions that could have been answered had you attended. To be doing is annotating poetry. So what is annotating poetry? Okay, it's a pretty weird word to sort of get through. Annotating. Basically, what it is analyzing poetry. How is it that we break apart a poem into little steps so that you understand what is going on? Okay, so here's I have given you a handout today about annotating poetry and the steps in order to do it. And the poem that I chose to do was the one I gave you last week. I just wanted to keep it simple to begin with. The song also gave you the opportunity to, sorry, not the opportunity. I gave you the lyrics to the poem, and we are going to go through the steps of annotating it. Okay, how do we analyze a poem? First time, what you do is you read the poem. Don't write anything down. Just kind of just get a feel for it. So I'm going to read the poem to you now, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay. Stereo hearts. My heart's a stereo, it beats for you. So listen close, hear my thoughts in every note. Make me your radio and turn me up when you feel a little bit and turn me up when you feel low, turn it up a little bit. The melody was meant for you. Just sing along to my stereo. Gym class heroes baby. If I was just another dusty record on the shelf, would you blow me off and play me like everybody else? If I asked you to scratch my back, could you manage that? Like, yeah, scratched. Check it, Travie. I can handle that. Furthermore, I apologize for any skipping tracks. It's just that the last girl that played me left a couple cracks. I used to use to, and now I'm over that. That one's a tough one. Because I'm holding grudges over love in the ancient artifacts. If only you could find a note to help you understand, note to make you understand. I'd sing it softly in your ear and grab you by the hand. Just keep me stuck inside your head like your favorite tune and know my heart's a stereo that only plays for you. And then you have the chorus. My heart's a stereo, it beats for you, so listen close. Hear my thoughts in every note. Make me your radio and turn me up when you feel low. The melody was meant for you. Just sing along, my stereo. If I was an old school 50-pound boombox, remember them? Would you hold me on your shoulder wherever you walk? Would you turn up my volume in front of the cops? Turn it up and crank it higher every time they told you to stop. And all I ask is that you don't get mad at me when you have to purchase Mad D batteries. Appreciate every mixtape your friends make. You never know. We come and go like on the interstate. I think I have finally found that note to make you understand. If you can hit it, sing along and take me by the hand. Just keep me stuck inside your head like your favorite tune and know my heart's a stereo that only plays for you. My heart's a stereo, it beats for you, so listen close. Hear my thoughts in every note. Make me your radio. Turn me up when you feel low. This melody is meant for you. Just sing along to my stereo. And then I'm not going to sing for you the oh, 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 oh to my stereo. Oh, 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 sing along to my stereo. I only pray you'll never leave me behind, never leave me. Because good music can be so hard to find, so hard to find. I take your hand and hold it closer to mine, yeah. I thought, though love was dead, but now you're changing my mind. My heart's a stereo. It beats for you, so listen close. Hear my thoughts in every note. Make me your radio. Turn me up when you feel low. Just sing along to my stereo. Oh, 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 my stereo. Oh, my gym class hero baby, so sing along to my stereo. Okay, so that's sort of the poetic form of the poem. But what we need to do is now start analyzing what that might mean. Okay? So let's go back to annotating poetry. Initial reading, don't write anything down. Just get your, after reading, try and identify the tone. What tone was that poem like? Was it sad, regretful? Was it nostalgic? Was it upbeat and positive? Was it morbid, solemn? Or was it hopeful, sort of a wishing kind of feeling? And that's one of the things that we are going to do when we annotate poetry. We are going to take a look at our poems step by step and start writing down what they mean. Okay, sorry, I'm doing this very weirdly because I need to be. This is on a whiteboard that I can write on. So the tone of the story of this particular poem is sort of hopeful. Sort of a wishing kind of feeling. Okay, and all you need to do is just write a couple of words. These are not full sentences. But along the sides of the paper, this is what you're going to do, is sort of make notes about what this song is about or what the poem is about. Okay? So that is the first step, is sort of just looking at. Am I losing things here? Scene 1. There we go. Sort of trying to find and identify the tone. Then read it again. What questions sort of pop into your head? Okay? So as you're reading this, what words sort of pop in? Or sorry, what sort of questions? It's just, who's this about? When did this take place? Just any questions that might occur. Just jot down questions sort of in the margins there so that as you get a deeper look at it, you might be able to answer those questions. Okay? Then, identify any words that you do not understand and look them up and write the definitions on the poem. So let's say, as we're looking at this, that, okay, note, stereo, we are good. Ancient artifacts. Let's just say that was one that you weren't sure what it was. So we're going to, all right, I'm sorry, I'm working with this. Let's just say, let's undo that. Let's use the highlighter. It might work better. Okay, ancient artifacts. So what do you think that might mean? Any other words that you might not quite understand? What about, like, what's a 50-pound boombox? Old school 50-pound boombox. You might know, but I'm just using this right now as sort of an example. Okay. What's a mixtape? Interstate? Okay, and then what you would do is sort of look up what these words would mean. Okay, ancient artifacts, sort of, this would be things from the past. Okay, that might be that. Boombox might be like an old stereo. Portable stereo. Okay, mixtape. Songs from various artists. Okay. Oh, where'd that go? There we go. Okay. So then I can go like this. Oops. Undo that. Okay, mixtape. Boombox. Okay. Interstate might. Okay, that's a highway. I'm not saying that you don't know these words. I'm just using this as an example. Okay. Just trying to make this so that you understand what it is I'm trying to do here. So looking at the words and trying to find meaning from them. Okay? So then we go to the next one. Okay? Identify any words and write any definitions. Okay. Identify the figurative language that's used within the poem. Okay? Think about the literal meaning of each figurative device and then write down what you think they are. So I had asked you already to identify some figurative language. Okay? One of them that pretty much everyone identified was my heart's a stereo. Oh, that's ugly. And we know that to be a metaphor. Okay, it's a comparison of two things, saying that one thing is another. Okay, so we know that there are a number of poetic devices in here that you have used. And when I say poetic devices, I'm talking figurative language. They mean the same thing. And I flip back and forth. When I'm talking poetry, I call them poetic devices. When I'm talking writer's workshop, I call it figurative language. But they both mean the same thing. Okay? So we find metaphors. There are some other many other things that you guys have found because that was your assignment from last week. Okay? Then the next thing we do is how do they impact the text? Okay, so think about why would the author use a metaphor here? Why would he not say my heart beats for you? Or my heart, okay, why my heart beats for you? Why does it say my heart's a stereo? Why do you think he chose that particular word or that particular metaphor for this particular song? Okay, so you're going to do that with each of the figurative language pieces that you did. I'm only doing an example here because you're going to finish this for this week's assignment. Okay, you're going to find the rest of the poetic devices and tell me what they are. You're going to put it on and tell me how they impacted. Okay, then we have, is any of the text repeated? Is there a reason that the author would repeat the text? Okay, music, there is a lot of repetition. Okay, we have choruses that are always repeated. My heart's a stereo, it beats for you, so listen close. Hear my thoughts in every note. Make me your radio and turn me up when you feel low, this melody is meant for you. Just sing along to my stereo. Okay? Why is that repeated? Why do you think the author would do that or the poet would do that? Okay? And then you're going to make notes. So, repetition, and I'm not giving you the answer because that is your assignment. You are going to complete these 12 steps for this. I'm just starting you off. Okay? Then we move on to look closely at the punctuation. Does it reveal anything about the speaker of the poem? For example, does it seem like it's rambling, confident, nervous towards the topic? So as we look at we look at this page, there's very little punctuation. There's a couple questions. What might questions imply? If I was just another dusty record on the shelf, would you blow me off and play me like everyone else? If I asked you to scratch my back, could you manage that? So he's asking questions. What does that tell you about the author or the poet? Maybe that they're a little unsure of themselves, that this is more of a wishful piece. So that would be your next step, okay? With the So punctuation. What does it tell you about and how does it impact the song or the poem? And then you'd give a sentence or two about the punctuation. Okay? Then circle any words that are interesting or impactful. And why do you think that the poet chose those? So if we were to go back here, and I'll pick a different color, we'll go green here. Dusty records, I like that. Why do you think that this poet chose that records? Okay, dusty records. Okay, do we listen to records nowadays? No. So maybe this tells me a little bit about time. Sorry, the time frame. Is this something that the poet is talking about today? Or would this happen a while ago? There's a few pieces of, few details in here that show that it may not be talking about today. Okay, like do we deal in records? No, we deal in downloads. Okay. Do we even say the word stereo very often anymore? When we are, what are we actually talking about? So you may want to look at the time frame and sort of play with that as you sort of figure out what it is that the vocabulary is telling you. Okay? Oh, did I forget to do this? Dusty roads, time frame. Okay, so I wrote it down there for you. I'm not sure if I flip back and forth here on you. Okay? So circle any interesting words or impactful. Why do you think that the poet chose these? Why do you think he wrote about the past and not the present? What does that tell you? Do you think that this is a young kid? Someone older, perhaps? Someone wiser? So you have to start thinking about things and looking deeper at the poems. Then next, what is the overall theme of the poem? Okay, so when we go back and look, this one's relatively clear, and not all poems are. What do we think that the theme is? Okay. And I also gave you some sort of examples of theme. Is it about love, nature, culture, race, religion, identity? And I'm sorry that a lot of these words sort of ran into each other. The formatting kind of went wonky on me. Is it about history, family, innocence, experience, wealth, poverty, life? There are so many themes that this could be. What do you think that the theme of this story is? And then put that in your annotation, what you think that that is. Okay? Oh my goodness. Theme. I'm struggling. I'm going between four different screens here, or scenes, as I'm recording this. So what do you think the theme is? Write it down, and then a sentence or two about what you think that the theme of this entire story or poem is about. Okay, then we're on 11. Now, these ones are really getting to how you feel about it. What are the feelings you get? What does a tone say about the narrator's feelings? Remember at the beginning when we looked at tone? Okay, tone being hopeful, wishing. What does that say about the poet? That maybe they wanted to get involved in a new relationship. Okay, wishful thinking, though a little bit hesitant because of past experiences. So, what is the tone that you get from that? Okay, playing around on me here. Okay, what do you think that the poem's intention was? Why do you think that the poet wrote this? Why did they write this song? Do you think it was just to have a hit record? No. Look at the deeper meaning, please. What is this saying and how's it saying it? And who is the poem's target audience? Who did the poet write it to or write it for? Okay. And whose perspective is it from? So if we go back and take a look here, what we have is here. Let me. Target audience. Okay. For some reason, it's not staying on top. Okay. Feeling. Purpose for writing the poem. So you need to do that. Also, an important one is how does this poem make you feel? Okay? And I expect that on there. Now, by the end of doing this, this is all going to be quite messy looking. Okay? Granted, as I'm typing, I'm going off the page and stuff like that, and you won't be able to. So some things might be written sideways, some things might be written on the back. Okay? But the whole point is sort of to try and put things right where they're supposed to be. Okay? Sorry, I've been playing with things. This isn't the greatest, easiest tool to work with. So that is what we're doing here with this whole annotation. Okay? And if you don't understand it and you're still trying, reread it, go through it step by step. Annotating takes a little bit of work, but it's a little bit of fun. And then later in the week, you're going to be answering questions and doing a little bit of writing about it. Okay? Because next week we're going to be doing another one that is not a music video. Okay? We're going to be going into something deeper like Walt Whitman or Robert Frost. some of the classic poems that are a little harder to understand, but if we start breaking it down, it becomes easier. I wanted to start off with a relatively easy poem to begin with that, for the most part, is relatively literal. But we will be getting into some of the deeper things. And to know one thing about poetry, so there's not always one right answer. There could be multiple answers and multiple meanings. So just because someone sees one thing in a poem, someone else might see something else. Poetry is all about what the reader takes from it. It's not always what the writer intended, but that's okay. The reader is connecting to it personally in their own way and will take something different away than the poet had intended, and that's fine. Okay, so don't feel pressure that this has to be right. There's only one answer, because that's not the truth. That's not what poetry is about. Poetry is how it makes the reader feel and how they connect to it. Okay, so I hope that this makes it a little bit easier for you to understand annotating poets. If you have any questions, feel free, send me a message, and we can hook up on Teams and do a little conference. Okay, thank you.